What up, coach collaboration and newer coaches? Thanks for hopping on. I'm so excited we could spend our Monday night together, and we're doing something a little bit different. Usually our coach collaboration Q&A is a half hour, and usually our newer coach Zoom is a half hour. I figured we'd use the momentum of our last few days and come in with questions, and I figured newer coaches or coaches who want to get back in this need to hear from the coaches who've been in the grind all year. This coach collaboration has, as so many of you have shown up every single day, and you have such great questions. Here's the deal. This question was asked last week. You're not always going to have fearless momentum, but what happens to get you to wherever you want to go is you have to have fierce consistency, and you have to show up every day no matter what. That doesn't mean be on your phone 24/7. That just means that you are sharing your story. You're working on your self-care. All right, let's go ahead and ask away. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. You guys know how I love long pauses. YouTube channel. I feel like we didn't get much info. Yep. So Scotty Hobbs has built his business off of YouTube. Sarah Morrison actually built a lot of her business originally off of YouTube. I use YouTube for myself in the sense of teaching myself things. So the way I use my YouTube is you can upload your live videos to YouTube. The ones that you do on Facebook, actually, you can go to them. When you go to your live videos, there's going to be 3 dots in the corner. If you click that, it can say download video, and then you can save it to your desktop and re-upload to YouTube. So that's a really great way to keep your live videos organized. If someone, so say you went live about this not being a pyramid scheme, and someone asks you, I had that today, of can you tell me how this is not a pyramid scheme? I said, absolutely, and sent her information. And so I couldn't find my pyramid scheme video, so I used another one that I found, but if I would have uploaded that to YouTube, I would have had that right away. So it's a great tool for you to save the videos that you make. The only real way I use YouTube is these Zooms, is I keep them public for anyone to check out. I know Angie Belmar, she has a YouTube that she shares her lifestyle brand there. In my opinion, stick with what you're doing. Stick with the platform that you have. You can use YouTube as a really great tool, but like for Angie, if you go to her YouTube, you're going to be like that. Like, you have to understand that she's invested a lot of money into really nice ways of putting things together in programs. So then you'll be like, like maybe stop you in your tracks a little bit. Use your Facebook page. You have not maxed out. This is a question that I got at Summit. Julianne, do you add to your network every day? Yes. On Facebook, I added 10 friends a day. I maxed out at 5,000. I get deleted. People delete me all the time, so I'll go from 5,000 to 495, and then that way, new coaches, I can add them as friends that join our team. But I added to my network every single day. On YouTube, I do the same thing, or not YouTube, sorry, Instagram. But the really cool thing about having 5,000 friends on Facebook is that there's no way I've helped all of those people, and maybe 1,000 of them are coaches. So there's still so many people to reach. I hope that answered your question.
Can I ask another one off that real quick?
Yes.
I looked at your Facebook a couple weeks ago, and I saw that I can't see how many friends you have. Is that a setting that you just go into and adjust? Okay. Because I have coworkers that make fun of me for having like 1,000 friends, and I'm like, okay.
I love that they, one, pay attention to that, and two, actually say something about that, like, get over yourself. I hope they watch this video. Get over your damn self. There are better things to do and people to help than make fun of other people for wanting to expand their network to help people. Just a side note moment. I hide it, and the reason I hide it is because there's a lot of poaching going on with all these people leaving for Prove It, that they would literally go after Beachbody coaches. Like, that's a great technique, isn't it? Like, hey, let's go after people who are doing things because we don't have enough confidence to do it on our own. I'm being entirely sarcastic. But I just would hide mine and, you know, whatever. It had nothing to do with people like seeing how many friends I have or not, but it's definitely a setting that I have. So great question. What's the best option for this? Maggie wants to hit coaching right now. I love that. I hope the momentum from Summit has helped all of you see the value in this community. Her mom is my customer, but would I ever switch her to Maggie? That would be a great idea. She can fill out the customer coach change, and she can sign up as a coach with Maggie if that's what she wants to do. That's a great idea. I definitely think so, especially if she wants to do something. If you are a coach on here that has been off the grid, one, welcome back. You haven't quit. That's huge. Like, I want to acknowledge that. I think that it can be in your own head embarrassing. Like, you think that all we do is sit around waiting and like watching you. We don't. Like, we just keep on going. So get over yourself, right? Like, you're here, you're back, you're ready to grind. And not a lot of people have grit like that. Not a lot of people have the ability to want to do that. I've never seen someone, I was just talking about this, I've never seen someone leave this and become a better person. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, told you so. Like, that's not how I feel. Like, if someone quits, I really hope it's because it's in the best interest for them. But every time that I've seen someone do that, I have not seen them elevate themselves, push themselves, grow themselves, become the best version of themselves. Maybe I'm not wasting time, and so I don't notice. But honestly, it's crazy. I don't see it. So if you've gotten off the grid, welcome the freak back, because this is where you're supposed to be. You're meant to be here, and I'm so glad that you are here. So where do you get started? You jump on these calls. You start working on yourself. I talked about that today. I said, where do you start after Summit? Because it's overwhelming. You have pages of notes, you're frozen. You had all this ambition, you're in the seminar, you're like, yes, I'm gonna crush it. I'm gonna be on the stage next year. Shit, I'm home, and like, what do I even do? Right? You work out. That's what you do. You open up a book, you read it. That's what you do. You share your story authentically. That's what you do. You connect to this community. That's what you do. This community is life-changing because this community is not going to give up on you. This community is going to continue to inspire you, because when you're in your own little world, it's really easy to get off track because no one's keeping you accountable. Community is a necessity, so stay here. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so fired up today. We just got it. We just got it going. Shout out to Jamie Moore. Dude, yes, welcome. It's like, I think the coolest thing that coaches can do is get on calls. That is what I did when I first started. A lot of times, Jillian, how'd you get to where you are today? Guys, I connected. I allowed this community to transform me. It's hard being the new person and not knowing all this lingo. I get it. But then I was like, you know what? But I will get it. I will understand it. I would say this was my 4th summit. It was my favorite one. And the reason it was my favorite one is because all of the pictures that people were tagging people in. I was like, wow, like that group went and did that. Like that group did that. Everyone felt included. People like did this and that. It was so cool to watch because I had nothing to do with it. It was so awesome to see that all of you allowed yourself to do that. And it's kind of the same thing with Zooms. Like, immerse yourself in it, not to comparison and being paralyzed, but like, hey, there's something to this. Like, why did you join? Hope. You saw something. I want to be a part of that community. That's why I became a coach. Or, man, I see my coach did this. Like, I want to be like that. That spark will go away because your doubt will creep in. That spark will go away because fear is going to get in the way of you when someone says that you're ridiculous or makes fun of how many friends that you have on Facebook or makes a slick comment about you posting on social media too much. And then you're going to be like, ooh, why did I do this? I'm being so judged. No, what you're realizing is that, dang, I need to like get rid of those friends, or put boundaries around those people who literally were bringing me down and I didn't realize it. And you know what? I feel good. I feel empowered. I feel healthier. I feel happier. I have more hope. I feel more alive. I'm doing something for myself. And if people cannot support that, that's silly. Like, that's ridiculous that they're projecting their insecurities on me because they're too afraid to go for it. Who do you want to be like? I always say that, like, do you want to be the person who's like on social media confident, or do you want to be on, like, the person who's judging everybody? Like, you choose. Like, do you want to be the person that's not working out every day, or do you want to be like the person that is working out every day? Do you want to be like the person who has more freedom in their life, not just money, but like the freedom of like peace of mind? Or do you want to be like the person who's so like insecure? And then when you start to think like that, you're like, yeah, I'd rather hang out with these guys. I feel better when I'm around these kind of people. It's really empowering. And at-home workouts definitely don't work. Absolutely. Like, none of us on here have like gained any kind of confidence with at-home workouts. Like, it's kind of crazy, or like have lost weight. Yeah. 35 pounds. Mine was a mystery. I literally just drank water all day. Jordan, I'm so sarcastic today. I'm so not sorry about that. What's up, girl?
I was just going to say, I think you missed something. Someone asked about how you would market to men. It was at the very beginning, so I think it just missed.
How do I market to men?
Yeah. And for me, I just wrote that, I made a post with guys, and it showed that there's guys doing it. I just don't know if you have anything else you want to add for Lacey.
Is that who said that, Lacey?
Yes.
I don't market to men. So do men join? Yes. Gordon, what's up? Like, we're not dissing you, man. We're so glad you're part of Team Happy and Fit. But I don't market to men. I market to someone who needs help, mainly to the women, because I get her. But am I going to be like, sorry, Gordon, you can't be on our team anymore. Get off this call right now. No. It's just cool. Like, I don't. Like, I talk to the overworked, burnt out. I just think about the girl who like is sitting on the couch that is just so stuck in life, or the one who's sitting on a desk after an exhausting day of work and just like, is this going to be my life for the next 30 years? I can't do it. I want to talk to a person that all they can say is that they're a teacher and nothing else. Can some of you teachers relate to me? I want life back in people. And so I market myself. Does that make sense? So I share my story, and my story 9 out of 10 times connects to a woman. That's not, so like there is a small percentage that it connects to men. There's this one couple, and the husband always talks to me, and they're going to join our team soon because he's thinking about his wife and how she would like our team. Does that make sense? But like, he wants to be a part of our team. So I think for you guys to really think about this is, you're not trying to market to like a specific person, but when I say that, a name. Like, when I post on social media, I'm not just trying to talk to Sarah Scott. I'm talking to the old me, the current me. I know they said that at Summit, like, oh, like the old you is like out, and like, no, it's not. Like, I didn't mean to be like all like weird like that. Like, it was a really great presentation, but I got what she was saying. But what I meant by that is like, no, like I have to remember who I was in that avatar in order to connect with that person who feels that way, if that makes sense. I am feisty today, and I need to tone it down because this is recorded. How do I get creepy guys off Instagram? Block them, you won't always. Of you who follow me, what am I doing wrong to get all the creepers? I don't know, but if just with your hashtag tags, just like think about what your hashtags are. I'm assuming if you're hashtagging, I know that you like Pokemon on the go. I'm assuming that's mainly men that like that. Sarah, am I right? Like, you have to look at your hashtags. And so maybe hashtag, I did love this at, Bonnie Ingalls said this, where she's like, hashtag your stage in life. You're married, but you're a female, right? Like, you're like, so it'd be wifey, like whatever your journey, it could be like cat mom, it can be, you know what I'm saying? So what I suggest, it's your hashtags, but it needs to be your hashtags and stage of life. So I have been hashtagging like dog parents, when it's a picture of Eric and I am hashtagging beating 50%. I'm hashtagging, I'm mainly using hashtags that are going to speak, that women are going to be on. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I think that would help you. Yep, Jordan, what's up?
Okay, so I know all the elite coaches have a community group as opposed to like a challenge group, and I started one of those, but it's kind of like died off. How do you think I should revamp that?
Yeah, this is a great question. How many of you are struggling with your challenge groups where you're like, no one's posting in there? Yeah, the struggle's real. If you're bored, they're bored. So here are a couple suggestions. I would get in there and be like, guys, I'm ready to revamp this up. I'm rebranding, renaming, like this is my vision. This is what I see this community being like. And this, I would just like come forward and be like, I haven't been feeling it lately, and we're going to change that together. So one, I would do that. Two, you need to give them expectations. What should they be doing in that group from now on that you've rebranded? So I don't want you just to go in there and go live right now. I want you to actually write it down of like, okay, what is my group going to look like? And what do I want it to feel like? And then you need to create an action plan. So for me, I just told my group, hey, just so you know, on July 16th, is it really loud in the background with dishes? Oh, I think it's just me. So if you're, okay, hold on. I went in there and I said, July 16th, we're going to start our Happiness Project Collaborative. Stay tuned. But I also emailed my challengers today saying, hey, I'm back in town. I love you guys. And like just shared this story and saying like, community is everything. You need to connect. We're not meant to do this journey alone. Send me what workouts you're doing this week. And then I just like asked a few questions, but just shared my heart with them, like how much I love them. So maybe you try something different. Maybe you try connecting with them through email. But I think too, like you have to have that plan and you have to make people feel a certain way. So with your challengers, are you just checking in with workouts? Or are you making them feel empowered as a person? Because workouts, you guys, workouts are great. Like Sweaty Selfies got my workout done, crushed it. But that doesn't necessarily make people feel a certain way. So maybe you go into your group and you're like, you guys, I just had the most life-changing experience in Indianapolis. I want to tell you about it. A couple of realizations that I've had is that I've always tried to do life alone. And I'm so grateful for this community because it allows me to see, I'm making this up right now. But that's just an example, is like make them feel a certain way. You guys, for so long, I didn't think that I could do it. That I didn't think that I could do at-home workouts. I always thought they didn't work. I thought that this was so expensive. Like go in there with your objections and be like, and boy, was I wrong. And to know that we can do this together is everything. Maybe share a story about clean eating. Share a story about your insecurities. Share a story about your hopes and your dreams. Talk about life, not just fitness and nutrition. Don't you think that this is so much more than like fitness and nutrition? That literally we have a community of people that we get to empower. We have a community that just makes us feel something. And so when you're thinking about your challenge group, that can be as simple as that. Is like, here's an example. On my way home from Summit, I was in the middle of a seat and I had two guys next to me and I went to sleep for an hour and I woke up and I said, you know what? I don't believe that people come into your life by accident. Like where you're placed, where you're at in the moment, like there has to be something to this. So I looked over and secretly this guy, I was like, oh my gosh, my best friend Hannah, I'm going to set her up. I can't believe this is recorded right now. Like that was totally my heart. And so I like sat up and I woke up and I said, how old are you? He's like 26, almost 27. I said, great. Are you single? And he said, yes. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna introduce you to my best friend Hannah. Started laughing. He's like, okay. And then I said, are you a good person? He's like, well, yeah. And I like moved my head around to make eye contact with him. I said, are you a good person? And he's like, yeah, you guys, true story. Like this is hands down what happened on the plane. We talked for 3 hours after that. I've found out that he works for the NBA. I've also found out that he's a really phenomenal photographer. And we just connected on Live, and he asked what it is that I do. And of course I like mentioned, Hannah loves that, Hannah loves this, like, you know, like all stuff. And then sure enough, after we took a picture together and sent it to Hannah, and they've been talking. It's just been like, hey, back and forth. But I told him, and then we walked through the terminal together, and he had another plane to catch. And I said, you know, Tristan, I don't think people meet each other by accident. He said, I don't think so either. And I just gave him a hug, and then I said goodbye. And then he was just like this huge man, and I was like, my husband's 6'8", so I like made a joke with him, like, don't be like all squeezed for 4 hours, like my husband, like, you know, and all this stuff. But I just thought, like, dang, like people come into your life for a reason. That's a great story to share in my challenge group. Of just like, I don't think people come into your life by accident. Let me tell you a story. Has this ever happened to you before? Or maybe like thinking about, what was the time that you were so afraid to do something, but you did it and you felt so successful after? Was it going skydiving? Was it going to Summit? Like, oh, that's another story of like, you guys, I did the craziest thing over the weekend. I literally got in an airplane and flew across the country, not knowing anyone, and I did it. And this is how I transformed 4 days later. Have you ever had to overcome adversity in some way? Man, some of you, I can feel your energy right now because you're like, dang, yeah, you're like connecting with me in the stories I'm just talking about right now, right? I feel you. I actually feel you through your head nods and your eyes and your note taking. I'm acknowledging that right now. So if I'm making you feel that way through experiences and questions that had nothing to do with fitness and nutrition, imagine what that's going to do to your challengers, the people who saw hope in you. Something that you shared, you have this responsibility because someone said yes to you, even you coaches on here, whoever you decided to take this leap with, you saw something. It was either the community, a transformation, a lifestyle, an energy that your coach was projecting that you craved, right? That's your story. That's even another social media post. Those things I just shared you are social media posts, and you could share it to your group and say, have any of you experienced this before? And you want to make people feel a certain way by getting to know you on a different level. Jordan, I hope that helps you. I just think the biggest thing is sometimes we can get so logical with groups, but people aren't needing to be logical. People are needing to feel something, alive, hopeful, encouraged, empowered, brave, that they can do it too, that they can be a difference maker as well, if that makes sense. Oh, no burning. If he was 15 years older, I'd go out with him. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm like, Tristan was a really cool human being. I just created a community group today, and did you add all the people right away, or did you have, so first and foremost, my philosophy on groups, and maybe you knew this or you were going to be on this and you're all over it, but I think everyone needs to hear this, is I don't add people without telling them I'm adding them. Do you ever get into those groups where you're like, why am I in another makeup group? Why? And then you kind of want to go off in that group, but then you realize that they have no idea that you're in 50 other ones. So then that's why I don't post that in those groups. I just leave them. Yes, the only content you would need to have in there is a welcome video or something explaining what this is and what do you hope it to be and what you expect in there. Then what you can do is you can message people with the link and say, hey, I'm launching this community group today. This is my hope for it. This is what I want from it. And I want people in there that are going to bring it to life and also work on themselves. That's how you can launch your groups, you guys. I always require a challenge pack to get in my groups, but if you're like newer or you're just kind of wanting to like just have something in there, maybe even it's potential coaches or challengers that are just not ready yet, you can add them to, or like, don't add them. You can send them a message and say, hey, I would love for you to be a part of this. I would love for you to do this with me. And do that there. So I would have some kind of welcome video. And remember, people are not moved by content. People are moved by emotion. People are not moved by the content of your group. The content can be great, but it's how you make people feel. Just as much in social media posts, you can say the what, almost like yelling at people. My life has changed. Why aren't you doing this? Versus like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so afraid to join this community. That connects way deeper than like you just sharing facts or you just sharing the what. But when you share the why and what it's doing for you, that's huge. Another thing I want to add to this. Your journey is the product. Your journey is the product. When you hashtag Sean Week, when you hashtag Shakeology or say Shakeology or 80-day obsession, all this stuff, like I just got to tell you, like that is blending in. But when everyone's zigging and you want to zag, you transforming and just sharing how it's making you feel, that's enough proof of the products that work. That when you are sharing your journey, even for the community, the coaching opportunity, when you are sharing that a group of people have made your life better, that's proving this works. When you are sharing the successes of others, that's proof this coaching thing works. When you are sharing that you've lost weight, toned up, but in the story that you share, it doesn't matter the program you do. Does that make sense? It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with how it's working for you. What it's like, that you are the proof of the product. That people don't need to know the name of the product. They don't need to know how much the product in that moment. They just need to know that it's doing something for you. And that is why it is key. Okay, here, my best friend Hannah, you know who I'm trying to set up with Tristan? Marriage in 2019. You watch it. I'm calling it. Oh my gosh, I would die, you guys. I would just be so happy. Anywho, she's on day 3 of her program, okay? She messaged me at Summit and she said, I'm sick and tired of feeling this way. And I FaceTimed her and I said, you gotta do this, girl. Like, I'm not giving up on you. I love you and you gotta do this. And so she's like, what's the login of your bod? I was like, I'll give it to you. Like, you go get in my bod. This is recorded. Sorry, Beachbody. But I'm like, my girl's gotta have it, right? And she texted me and she said, I'm so sore. I think I'm gonna do yoga today. And I said, Hannah, I love you. And I know you're sore, but I think the best gift you can give yourself is finishing a program right now. Your program is 7 days. Do another day of your program. You're going to get less sore as you move more throughout in your workout today. But I think the best gift you can give yourself is accomplishing day 4. And she did it, you guys. She did it. She wanted to opt out and do yoga because it's still moving your body, right? And that's fine. I still do that to this day. But for Hannah, she needs that victory if she can complete something. Even doing yoga, she would have been grateful she moved her body, but not as grateful as saying she finished Clean Week. And I am so proud of her. She was empowered. She sent me a selfie in our text, and she said this, I love sweating. And it was her just like in sweat. And I was like, did I just make you guys feel a certain way? Didn't I? That was real. That was a real story that I can go share in my group, that I just share with all of you, that she just won today. And she said, I think I do need to take this day by day. I think I've been thinking too much about the overwhelm of what the work I need to do. And I just need to do this day by day. And she's right. And so maybe your following needs to hear that today. That's just a day by day thing. Brittany, what's up?
First off, I just have to tell you, like, you've got my heart so on fire right now. I'm having a really hard time just like sitting here.
Can I tell a story real fast? She sent me a message, okay? And she just got a rebounder, and she said, Julianne, like, I'm so sorry. Like it was so dramatic in my head. It wasn't. It was like so like whatever.
No, it was so dramatic in my head.
Like, do you feel like I'm copying you? And I literally just sent her a text back and I go, girl, get over yourself. She's like, I needed that. I was like, no, I don't feel like that. Okay, anyway, keep going.
Yeah, well, then you get Lisa Locke, who's crying as I'm like Instagram living earlier. That was interesting. we sang along. I'm working out and she's singing with me to The Greatest Showman during Sean Week.
By the way, I felt all of you at Summit. I knew it. I was like, Team Happy and Fit, maybe even the Good Vibe Tribe. I was like, I feel them. And then Jamie Fitzpatrick was my partner at my table. And, they're just kind of like, okay. Like, because I was like up and just like going. And I leaned over. I was like, you don't understand. I play this song every day. And my team, they listen to this every day. And it just is like encompassing all of Summit right now and bringing it all full circle. Okay, what's your question? There we go.
My question. So I designed this cool tracker today, and I'm like, I feel like we always just play around with trackers, but nobody ever sticks to them, or we don't ever talk about them a lot. And so I guess my question is, what are best practices for tracking, like the vital behaviors? Like, I'm pushing for Diamond, like, so hard, and I feel like, other than just writing it down on my notebook, I feel like there might be a more efficient way, but I want to know kind of from your perspective or, somebody who is a Diamond, what the best way is to track.
Yeah. So first of all, Summit is a day-by-day thing, my friends, just as much as the Power Hour is. I talked about this with Brittany a couple of times before, that sometimes in your Power Hour, you're like, how come I didn't sign up a coach in there? Or in your Power Hour, like, why didn't I help one person with the challenge pack? Like, I just spent 1 hour. This doesn't work. Just as much as if you go into a workout and you're like, well, I'm still 15 pounds heavier, so this is dumb. Your Power Hours are an accumulation that when you do it every single day, it is going to create fierce momentum. However, if you are spending your Power Hour scrolling the news feed and doing the activities that don't actually move the needle, then you'll continue to beat your head against a wall and say, this is not working, and then therefore stop doing the thing that works. So for me, it's creating that action plan on my Power Hour or approaching my business. The very first thing that I need to be doing is self-care. It is, I don't think you need to work out every single day. But I need to be moving my body. I need to be drinking my shake, and I need personal development that is relevant to my life. Not personal development that you're doing while distracted. I think it's great that so many of you drive with personal development versus the radio. I think it's great. I also think it's even better at some point in your day, whether it's 10 minutes right before bed, that you're highlighting and taking notes on PD. So you're actually absorbing it. You're letting it work in your life. The thing that's going to move the needle in your Power Hour is what? Inviting. And that's the number one thing coaches don't do in their Power Hour, but they feel like they crushed it when they do 90% of it. The one thing that is going to actually move the needle in your business, the thing that's going to move the needle in your life is self-care, for sure. But if you're serious about the business, you're serious about Diamond and beyond, or volume even, paycheck, Ash Mappy, I see you on here. I know what you're thinking with that volume, because that's where the paycheck is, right? It's inviting you guys. And this community is amazing. So many of you felt it, that this is a gift. This isn't selfish. This is going to transform people's confidence, their lives, medical bills, everything. Medical results, health, families, marriages, jobs, everything. And where do you do that? So Brittany, what I think is most powerful every day in a Power Hour is adding to your network every single day. And you guys stop caring what people think. Just expand your network without, I get defriended all the time. I'm like, guess the positivity is too much for you. Too much for you. I don't want to work with someone who thinks that, unless they change their thought about that. But if they're going to delete me because I am this, and that, I'm not worried about it. I know where my mind is. I know where my heart is. I know what this is doing for me and what it's done for me. I'm not about to get off track because someone who isn't growing, like, that doesn't make any sense, right? You need to expand your network. You close the door to your business if you don't. And then two, if it's hard for you guys to invite, and I think that it's like we overcomplicate this, and I hope I spoke to you at Team Rockstar Fit Day with this, is that inviting is, you're not inviting to a product, you're not inviting to a company, you're inviting to a community. You're inviting to support. You're inviting to an experience. You're inviting to a transformation. You're inviting to confidence. You're inviting to self-care, self-love. You're inviting to happiness. You're inviting to something so much bigger than them. And don't overcomplicate an invite. And what I mean by that, I did like 1 million today, by 1 million because I'm a circle and I over-exaggerate. 5. Okay, close. And oh my gosh. Anyway, wow. Okay. Anyway, I was just like, girl, like you gotta be a part of this team. Regardless if you're worried about social media, regardless if you're worried about this, like that's not even what I'm talking about right now. You need to be a part of this and what I'm doing because I know what it's going to do for you. And you know what? I know. My husband thinks that this is a pyramid scheme. I was like, why didn't you say that 3 years ago? I've been talking to you forever. And like, thank you for like being like honest with me. That's what it was this whole time in 3 years. That, are you kidding? She said, man, I saw it. I saw your pictures. I watched your experience. I need to be doing that. I know this can be so much more. But you know what? I think the reason my husband doesn't take it so seriously is because I haven't been so consistent with my journey. He thinks it's going to be a fad for me. I need to show him that it's not. So I invite to an experience, a family, a community of people that have wide open arms that are going to transform their life. So I think it's hard where you're like, I don't want to be creepy. I don't want to be salesy. I don't message people randomly and say like, hey, do you want to be a part of this Beachbody opportunity? Hey, have you ever like, do you want to be a coach on my team? It's if they've watched my stories, participated on a poll, if they have followed, friend requested me, if they've reached out to me in some way by liking or commenting on one of my posts, I reach out to them. I reach out to them. Natalie, a girl Sarah and I have been talking to, literally the other day, I said, Natalie, when are you joining our team? That's what I said to her. She said, I think it's time. I said, what do we got to do to get it started? Let's go. My confidence in this is too grand. Like, this is the ultimate opportunity. So when I'm inviting, I'm also making sure that I'm consistent and committed. People follow people who are confident, consistent, and committed. And that you cannot go back and forth. Like my brand is my brand in real life, that I'm not complaining and making random things. Like I literally just share my story. And maybe it's funny, maybe it's not, but I'm always in a picture. I always do that unless I'm sharing a positive quote, but that has nothing to do with me trying to reach someone. That's just me sharing a positive quote. But every day you'll see a picture of me and my journey. And I make people feel a certain way, not in this way of like, oh, like I just want to get people. No, I want to make people feel a certain way because I know what I'm doing. I know what it's going to do for them. And I have the platform to change their life. And so I'm going to do it and I'm going to go big. I'm going to share something that's going to move somebody and they're going to connect with me through that. Whether it's through humor, awkwardness, funny, like serious transformation, they're going to connect with me and get along with my humor. I don't know if some of you guys, you worked out with me with Shanti. What did you notice about my feet? One, my toenails, you guys have still the same paint. This is not what you noticed from Mexico. That the same paint on my nail polish on my toe since Mexico. That was months ago. Okay, that's cool. I had mismatched socks on. I know that's something maybe little that no one really like noticed, but I'm the same in real life that I am at home. So, but like people get that, you know what I'm saying? It's like something so little, but that's like my brand. You know what I'm saying? I kind of hate saying brand because I think people are overcomplicating this. It's you. I'm me in person that I am on social media, and I share my life every single day to connect. Sarah Scott, I believe, asked, what was that thing? It was connect. Right? Oh, wait, what was it? It was make someone feel something. It's you connect. I'll think of it. And then I start dialogue with people, but I'm very confident. So when you think invite, it's not, hey, Brittany, do you want to be a Beachbody coach? I think you'd be great at this. No, it would be like, Ashley, girl, my heart is so on fire. My life has been transformed this weekend. I seriously cannot stop thinking about why you would need this. I know that you've had a lot on your plate lately, but I really feel like being a part of my community is going to help you with your plate. That you're going to have more energy to be better in every aspect of life. I really want you to do this alongside me. There's no pressure, but this is changing my life too much. I hope you're having an awesome day. How'd you all feel with that? I just made that up. Good? Are we good with that? Like, or when you're inviting too, like, do people know that you're a part of something? A part of a family, a part of a community, a part of an experience? You're not saying Team Beachbody, like all this stuff, but you're like, man, like my community rocks. My community is changing and transforming my life. Maybe it's the Struggle Detox Collaborative, which is my community name. Maybe I say that. What is that? Let me tell you. You need to be talking about your community, whether it's the team or your challenge group, all the time. But it's not branded as a challenge group. It's not branded anything with Beachbody. It's your heart. It's, oh my gosh, ladies, like, I want to pay this forward. I want people to feel the way that I'm feeling. I want to help 3 more women feel this way. It is so on my heart. I was an overworked, burnt out, underpaid teacher who hated fitness, 35 pounds heavier, checking the scale 3 times a day and body bashing constantly. And I'm set free from that. If you find yourself stuck, overwhelmed, stressed out, full of anxiety, and you can't sleep well, we've got to talk. And that's what I share on my social media. And so people know that there's a thing, but not everybody's going to reach out. Laura, what's up? I see that you raised a hand. Didn't know. I knew that was a feature, but I don't know how to use that feature. But I love that feature. It's so polite.
Yes. So you and I have talked about a friend of mine that's interested in starting coaching. And I did go that route where I sold the community, if you will, and just like the experience of being on this mission of helping women, you know, overcome fears, confidence issues, etc. So now, I know how to physically sign her up as a coach, but like, how do you say like, okay, now you need to get a package?
Yeah. So does she know any details?
Not really.
Yeah. So I would say that's a good phone call of like, hey, like, I just want to see what would be a good fit for you. Like, can you tell me a little bit why you would want to be a part of this community? Like, I know why I want you in it, but like, why do you want to be in it? What is your current struggle with nutrition? Like, where do you feel like you're struggling with your fitness? Where do you feel like you're struggling with your confidence? And when you ask her those questions, you get to know her a little bit and you can say, man, I can relate to that. Do you remember that you always used to talk to me about like, no, like, I know why you're laughing, because you're like, oh my gosh, because you've transformed so much in your verbiage. The way you used to talk about your body and the way that you used to talk about food and fitness is so different now, like to now. And that makes me so proud. So as you're talking to her and you're asking her these questions, you're relating to her. So it's like, hey, what's your biggest struggle with nutrition? And she tells you calorie counting. You get to tell her your experience and be like, you know what, this is how my community has helped me through that. And then after you're done being like, hey, I have some recommendations on how you should really get started the right way with this. This is the way I got started. And over this course of time, this has been my favorite thing. And I can relate to you most in this, that maybe it's 2B mindset. But I would say that's where you need to start, is with those questions. I hope that was helpful. I think that's going to be powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like she recently posted a picture of herself where she was thinner and unhappy with herself. And now she's a little bit heavier, but she's super happy with herself. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're already doing what you need to be doing. So yeah.
And I mean, that's awesome. And just be like, and then, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you had access to all these different workouts yourself, but why did you go with BOD? What kind of value did you see in it? You know what I mean? Where like, I think about Kai, who's a fitness instructor. She works out like 4 times a day and she's like, I need to get BOD so I can relate to the people that I'm going to help. It's a tool in my tool belt. That's the really cool thing about your friend is that great that she's rocking it herself, but the way the gym she goes to isn't going to help the people she's reaching because they don't have access to that, but she does have access to BOD. Great question. Any newer coaches that have questions? I know that when you get started, you're like, oh my gosh. So this is a Q&A, and tomorrow we have a team call. So this is a little bit rapid fire of like, what is this and what's going on? I think one, it's really cool that you're associating with coaches that have been around a little bit longer. So you can kind of just identify what are things that you would want to start doing and not doing. I think for a new coach, the best thing you can do is go through our coach training. 1, 2, set up a one-on-one with your coach. And then number 3, why'd you become a coach? And you should share that. And not be like, I became a Beachbody coach yesterday, but just like, man, I was just hungry. I was hungry for something more. And I had been watching on the sidelines. Be honest. Talk about if you're nervous. Talk about if you're scared. That's another thing with invites also, friends. If you, okay, teacher, Julianne, coaches, is that if you are nervous to reach out to someone, tell them that. Nikki, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous to reach out to you, but I have to do it anyway because I'm feeling brave. Tell them you're human. Like when you're able to give them that human experience, it's not like you're this like unstoppable machine of like never feeling nervous. Like that human emotion is allowing for vulnerability and allowing for a real experience for that person. And by the way, if you're nervous about being salesy, then you're not going to be salesy. But how many of you guys get like blasted like through social media with like, hey, sign up to do this. Here's my link. And you're like, wow, how impersonal. When you're sending a message being like, I'm so nervous, because it's not a copy and paste, that you're literally like, Ashley, my heart is like bursting right now and I have to tell you why. That's so different. It's so different and it's real. And you also have to understand is why are you doing this? What has it done for you? How is it making you feel? Why do you love it? How has it challenged you? How has it made you dream bigger? What opportunities has it given you? And you have to remember that as you start your day. I feel like I didn't fully answer Brittany's question. Tracking is everything. I'm going back. I'm a squirrel. Is add to your network, invite, and you need to do that every day. But that whole inviting thing can sound intimidating because you don't want to be like, I don't know who to invite. Like, I don't know this stuff. I think it starts with quality social media, consistency, commitment, right? And then transformation. People follow people who experience success, but the cool thing that we all know is that the thing that makes us successful isn't the result. But a lot of times what people see is the result on why they want to see that, but it's not physical. That's not what I'm saying. People can see a change in your energy and your happiness. They can see a change in your mindset. A lot of times I remember Brittany Burmeister being like, girl, I remember who you were before this. She says that. And I'm like, they literally like keep bringing up when I was chugging beer at the Concordia game behind a thing, you know, where it's like, I remember who you were. And like, I see it. And that was instant, like she has transformed. You know what I mean? And so your invites have to start with quality, self-care, quality messaging of like your story. And then inviting is an experience. Inviting is making someone feel a certain way of why you love this so much. But it all has to go back to making sure you're working on yourself. That's why I think the power, like with any kind of approaching your day, self-care is the biggest thing. And if you're struggling with self-care, talk about it. But talk about how you couldn't do it alone. And that's why even though you're struggling, that you can see through it because you have community. That even though it's been hard for you to get up so early in the morning, you have people that support you and that it makes you feel accountable. I feel like the greatest gift of coaching for me when I first started was that I knew people were going to see if I would quit or not. So that's what made me show up in the first place. That I said I was doing this, and so I better keep my end of the deal because I'm sure there's people betting against me right now. And then also I know there's people following me and they're inspired by me and I can't let them down. And that's how I feel. And so I still feel that to this day. It's like, it's my obligation to show up in a really great, empowering way. And it's a win-win for everybody, right? So inviting starts with you. And on your power hour, you got to do the thing you don't want to do. And I suggest doing that first. Talk about your community, the team or your group. Talk about why you want people in it. Talk about what it's going to do for them. Talk about what it's done for you all the time. You're going to feel very redundant. I've been sharing my story for 4 years and I don't care. It's transformed my life. I share different pieces of it. I still talk about why I joined the community. That's why I joined. I was sitting on a couch and I heard a Rock the Business Basics then Zoom. And I said, I want to do that. Someone made me feel like I could do it. And that's why I did it. I didn't care about the price. I didn't care about the stuff. So when I'm talking to people, like I even say that, like that wasn't a hesitation for me. So please help me understand what your hesitation is. I can't relate to you, but I want to, if that makes sense. I've had other Beachbody coaches do that. Yep, we're not going to be the spammers. Because I really feel like what we offer is the real deal. What we offer is life transformation, family transformation, kitchen transformation, lifestyle transformation, self-care. Oh, it's so positive and so wonderful. And just like, I don't know, I get so inspired by so many of your stories. I don't know about you guys, but at Summit, my favorite part was the Beachbody Challenge. I was just like, oh, what we're doing is so much bigger than us. And we cannot get caught up in our own doubt and fear. Like, people are missing out if we get sidetracked or stuck or selfish and make it about us. I'm gonna talk to you about this. And I heard Melanie say this. 2 things. One, she said she never stops growing and she never will. I've seen coaches think that they don't have to go to Summit because it's not for them anymore. And I said, in my head, I'm like, then you're making it only about you. Like, you should be going to Summit for everybody else that you have helped along this journey. And you'll get something from it by just being there, you know? Second thing, did you guys hear this? Between the top coach, Melanie, and Ashley Molstead. This is a lot, by the way, you guys. This is not my philosophy. And I really think quality, helping people and digging deep with them is the ultimate way of loving a team and loving the community over anything. So when I say these numbers, it's not like my goal. Does that make sense? But between the top coach and the second coach signed up 1,000 coaches last year, and Melanie signed up 500, and she's the top coach. And I was like, she dug with them. She had half the numbers, but because there was something to that in my heart. That's still a lot more than what I do, but still, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. I've been trying to find the individual finalists 2-minute intros to share with people, but I cannot find any. I think that they'll be updated soon. I know that they just announced, like in the back office, they're starting to put like the Beachbody Challenge winners and their names. They'll probably upload that content this week, I'm assuming. We have 5 more minutes. Are there any other questions? I just love this team. I love that we have coaches who've been coaching for a while to coaches who are really brand new, and what a treat for us to have you a part of this community. I feel so incredibly grateful for that. So thank you for taking your time to be on here tonight. Any other questions that you have?
I just want to say a quick thank you to some of the coaches that I've asked to be part of my challenge group. It just needed a little bit of a new blood in it. So I appreciate you going in there and help breathe life into some of my challengers.
That's awesome. I think teaming up is so great. And a lot of times, like, you're just like, why aren't people posting? And again, it's just trust the process of like, how can I get better? how can I, and so the fact that Laura sat out and said, hey, would anyone help me and bring life into this? That was such a good way of being resourceful and a great way to not give up on your group, because they will come around if you keep believing that it will, and just thinking of those different ways. So there's 1 week left of the month. I really want you to focus on helping at least one person right now, today, tomorrow, with a challenge pack. Why? It's going to change their life. If that's how you signed up, that is how you want to help someone, for sure. There's 5 days left. It's really easy to say next month. It's really easy to wait it out. But I don't think that you should. And I think you should take this one person at a time. And then when you help that person, your job begins when they get a challenge pack. That once they get something, you're not like, oh, see ya. No, that's when you dig with them. You're not there to hold hands, but you're also there to support and encourage and show and empower and help them. So with a week left, I want you to think about this. It all starts with belief. Do you believe that you can do it? You can. You so can. You just have to share your story, work on your self-care, and connect with people. Even in that power hour, maybe you're starting new conversations that have nothing to do with your group, but you just want to gain momentum with building relationships. Make a list of people in your life and send them a message and say, hey, I'm kicking off this community. We're going to be focusing on fitness and nutrition and confidence, and I really want to help people, and I really want you to do this with me. This is what I've experienced so far, and I want you to come alongside me as I keep going in this. I would love for you to do this with me. No pressure, but I just had to ask. That is such a simple, great way of reaching out to someone. Does that make sense? I always went with, I'm going to try to have, when I first started, 5 new inbox messages waiting for me when I would go to my power hour the next day. And I don't check my notifications constantly. I'm not glued to my phone, and so that's not what I'm encouraging. But if you're in there, maybe it's even simply wishing people a happy birthday through Messenger, and that's how you start getting your toes wet. But then you set a goal of okay, tomorrow when I am about to do my power hour, I'm going to see 5 new messages. And then as that becomes manageable, maybe you move it to 10 the next day. So I don't answer them back as soon as I send them out all the time, that I'll have an accumulation of messages. Then I'll go through them all at once. Does that make sense? So maybe you set that goal of okay, I am going to have 2 inbox messages waiting for me in the morning, simply because I reached out with an old friend. Today, I sent a message to a friend where I said, girl, you just popped up on my newsfeed. I have not seen you in forever. How are you? That was my message to her. I'm not focusing on those who are ghosting. I'm not focusing on those who I'm just going. Does that make sense? I'm not even worried about it. One, my intentions of this are so much more than anything other than I just want to be a positive influence to people. And so that's how I do that. All right.